Another edition of Xperience Sessions right here on indigomusic.com, and joining me is a very special guest, and she has been known for a lot of songs in Bollywood, like the Humma song 2.0, and she is the one and only Shashaa. Hey, welcome.
Hey man, what's up?
It's going great, Shashaa. Now you have stepped into a territory called being an independent artist, and you have released two songs, in fact, from your upcoming EP. And let's talk about them later. But first, I want to ask you, how difficult is it to be a singer in Bollywood as compared to being an independent artist, which you are now?
So I think I'm both. I mean, it's not, there's no, it's not territorial in, per se. If I'm a Bollywood singer, then I'm not an indie artist, or if
Right.
I'm an indie artist, then I'm not a Bollywood singer. I think I'm going to kind of coexist as both for as long as I'm a part of this profession.
Right.
But it is, they are very different. They are very different in themselves. Being part of the Bollywood industry, obviously you're singing other people's songs, you're kind of dressing other people's babies.
Right.
It's kind of there's a lot of give and take in it, in terms of how you treat their melody or how you treat their lyric. In independent music, though, it's entirely your baby, right?
Right.
So it's all of you, and I think that's something that is very there's a thrill to both.
Right.
When you're doing something entirely on your own, there's that sense of possessiveness, there's that sense of protectiveness. But then when it's somebody else's, that you can try a lot of things, and you could see what kind of mutually is agreeable to the both of you, or to like you and every other entity that's a part of the creation process per se. So I think they both have their own charm, and it's very fascinating to be getting into indie music. And I've been writing my own music since I was about 16, but to actually start releasing my music and put it out there and see how people kind of perceive of who I am,
Right.
As a person, as an artist, also because my indie music is very personal. So they're two very different things.
Absolutely. Now, your first single, In Your Skin. Before we talk about that single, I want to tell you something.
In my skin.
So In My Skin, I want to tell you something about a prop that you have used in that particular video, which has a national tape recorder. It's a red color tape recorder, and it's very close to me. The reason being, my dad he got that imported in 1984 for 800 rupees from his first salary. He bought that particular tape recorder, and I still have it in my house. I can still receive the FM signal, and I can still play the cassettes on that tape recorder. When I saw the video, I was like, oh, that's the same thing that I have in my house. So it's just...
No way.
Yeah, so it was,
Okay, wait, where do you live?
I live in Bangalore in India. So obviously, so my dad...
When I come to Bangalore next, I am coming over.
Definitely, I'll DM you that on Instagram, that picture with that particular national tape recorder. It's still late, it works, and the sound quality is so crisp, better than most of the other music players that we have these days. But let's talk about In My Skin. What was that track all about?
So In My Skin the entire EP revolves around the four stages in a relationship, right? But the catch is that none of they are actually transpiring in real life. They're the four stages of a relationship entirely lived within the mind of somebody, because it's like a one-sided relationship kind of thing, right? But you don't express. So basically you live everything in your mind. And so In My Skin was the second stage of the relationship, where you actually fall in love with someone. The first stage is where you get the butterflies in your tummy, when you're first seeing somebody and you're kind of developing an affinity towards them. So In My Skin was about falling in love and just sharing very intimate moments with someone, but entirely in the mind, like nothing transpires, like I said. So there's in the music, you'll hear a lot of that. Like you'll hear there's a graph. It starts off with a very internalized just plucking on the guitar, and which kind of builds into a climactic progression, and then a rhythmic section, and then that kind of just calms down and soothes into like an outro. Dun, 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 dang, dang. That's how it kind of ends over there. But the whole thing is about intimacy.
Right.
And experiencing that, yeah.
Right. And your second single, it's called I'm Sorry Heart. Now, is this a continuation to your first single? Is it where things may probably go south? It went bad. So you're apologizing to your heart? Is that, I don't know, I'm just guessing. Is that how it is?
Good guess, Rohit, but not good enough.
All right.
So, not your fault though. So the plan was that, so I wanted to release I'm Sorry Heart, which is the title track. I wanted to release it first, followed by In My Skin, and then the other two songs. But I felt In My Skin was the more commercial song. Commercial in terms of it was just more peppy, right? I'm Sorry Heart is just so I'm Sorry Heart is the first phase. It's where you're feeling butterflies. And let me elaborate on the premise of the song.
Right.
So it's when you feel butterflies about somebody for the first time you see them, or maybe, after a couple of interactions, and deep inside that there's no future to this,
right.
But that you have no control over your heart as well. So you're signing up for a future heartbreak. So it's an apology to your heart saying that I have no control over my emotions. I'm sorry in advance. I will break you, and I'm sorry to forsake you in advance. Is kind of what I'm Sorry Heart is.
Wow, fantastic. So this song has released today, and how has the reception been?
Oh, it's been amazing. We've gotten onto so many playlists.
Right.
Apple Music's gotten us onto, I think, our day hits and new music, new indie music, pop. They actually made this entire little cube special thing for I'm Sorry Heart. I think they've really dug the track. So happy that it's being accepted. Also because I've needed that. Considering it's like my very first EP and you're very protected. There's so much hard work. I just feel the sense of answerability towards everybody who's been a part of this EP, because let me tell you something, why the reception that we're getting and why the love that people are showing the song and this EP so far, 2 songs in, why it means so much is because Keba is an artist who I have looked up to since forever. We've done so many songs on the film front. And we've been meaning to collaborate forever. And this just happened within hours. We're just like, hey, you want to do this? He's like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, hey, you want to hear the song? He's like, oh my God, I love it. I was like, okay, let's record. So that's pretty much how the entire EP ended up happening. There was no pre-planning per se.
Right. Even
though we've been pre-planning for the past 7 years now. So I feel a tremendous sense of respect and just obligation in so many ways and responsibility towards, the song doing well, where Keba's worked so hard. And then Vincent is there, who's recorded me. He's the mix engineer.
Right.
We had Whitfield Mastering London, who did Ellie Goulding's, I guess, Grammy-winning track. They mastered that. So he's a part of it. And they've all been so sweet. And then we have fans who've shot all the videos. Not for this one, but In My Skin was a fan.
Right.
And the team was from Chennai. So there are all these people who just came together believing in the project. I didn't have to pursue them. I didn't have to, pursue as in I didn't have to run after them and be like, hey, will you do this, please? They really believed in what I wanted to believe in, what I was passionate about, and they were equally passionate, if not more. So I just feel that tremendous sense of, pressure for them more than for myself. And of course, it being the very first EP that I've because usually I release singles, right?
Yeah.
That there's not so much at stake when you're doing one song, but then when you put all your eggs in a basket, it's like, oh my God. So, and Bangalore is one of those places where, people have such a fine appreciation of independent music, of originals, right? So I think I'm really expecting a lot of love from Bangalore audiences and listeners as well.
Definitely. And we are going to be playing your song on air, both here in Bangalore and in Goa. And, it sounds fantastic. And I'm pretty sure our listeners are going to love it. Once again, Shashaa, thank you so much for connecting with me. And we'll connect soon once you release your next track. Until then, you take care of yourselves and stay safe.
Thanks, Rohit. Thanks for having me. And good luck to you guys and your team.